What if Deku had gravity? Part 1. Sorry for not uploading yesterday. I was sick, which most of you guys know that. And getting into this what if, Izuku is born as a twin to a girl named Ochako Uraraka. Izuku, now known as Izuku Uraraka, as Inko is no part of this story whatsoever. She's just a lonely person that just stays in her apartment because she has nobody to take care of. She probably would end up moving to go live with Hisashi over living abroad, basically. As Izuku and his twin, Ochako Uraraka, are very happy children, all up until the age of 4, where they go to the quirk doctor. This is where the doctor says that Ochako has finger pads on her fingers, which she probably noticed that grew in probably by now, where if she touched something with the 5 fingers, then they will start to float up, and she has to put all 5 of her fingers together and say release for them to fall. If she does something too heavy, then she gets sick and throws up. Izuku, however, has a much stronger quirk. The doctor's confused at this as he looks at the quirk and just says, the quirk's just called gravity. Apparently, all you have to do is think of something or just want something to float up, lose its gravity, or gain gravity. Then all you have to think of that. It's weird, but it could definitely be a most powerful quirk. If I'd have to guess, Izuku would become a very powerful hero, while Uraraka might be good for something like a construction job. Which they go home, as the doctor also said something right before they left that Izuku kept in mind. This takes focus and being relaxed. Relaxed? Oh my god. So, Izuku, once they get home, starts to meditate. He knows if he wants to become a good hero, he's going to have to relax, or at least relax when he's using his quirk. At least until he's good enough at it to where he can do it with the snap of his finger, the flick of his wrist. Very easy. Now, Uraraka was quite sad to know that the doctor didn't think she could be a hero and that it'd just be good for a measly construction worker job, but she still wanted to be a hero. So the next day comes and both Uraraka, or Ochako, and Izuku, I'm just going to call her Uraraka from now on. I don't like calling them by their first names because that's not how it is in the anime, basically. So Uraraka and Izuku go to their elementary school, where it is said that Izuku has a very powerful gravity quirk, and so all the kids start asking Uraraka how powerful her quirk is, and she says she has an anti-gravity quirk where if she touches something with all 5 fingers, then they start to float up. As the kids go to ask Izuku what his quirk is, and he just says, oh, if I want to make something anti-gravity, I just have to think of it, like say that pencil, as the pencil starts floating in the air. As all the kids are amazed by this, it's like, whoa, you don't even have to touch it like your sister? Zuko's just like, yeah, I don't have to touch it. So, Izuku ends up becoming very popular because of his quirk, but he doesn't really care. All he cares about is training to become a hero and meditating. He has to meditate and become relaxed in order for his quirk to become stronger. Without this relaxation and focus, and if he's all scared like the Izuku in the anime is, then his quirk wouldn't be much of a use. If he's constantly scared, his power would go haywire, and everything would either gain a ton of gravity or lose a ton of gravity, including him, which is a drawback. You have to be very in tune with your emotions for this type of quirk. If you're not, then you're basically just going to have a bunch of things floating or slammed on the ground around you, including yourself. So 10 years pass, and Izuku and Uraraka are now 14 years old. So they end up going back to school for their final day, as the teacher says, "I all know you all want to be heroes, correct?" As he throws the papers into the air, being the school admission forms or whatever they're called, as everyone is cheering as the teacher reads off names: Izuku, Bakugo, and Uraraka, the three names that are going to try out to get into UA. This is when Bakugo stands up and says, "There's no way that weak little crap Uraraka's gonna get in. Her quirk's barely anything." As Izuku just looks at Bakugo and calmly says, "Sit down, Bakugo. Have a seat." As Bakugo, feeling his gravity intensify, immediately sits down in his chair, having trouble even being able to stand. As Bakugo just looks absolutely pissed off. He's had to deal with 10 years of dealing with this low-life peasant, Izuku, absolutely just humiliating him in front of the class. Once Bakugo sits down, the entire class starts laughing at him once again. Says, "Bakugo, you should know you can't do that to Izuku's sister. You can't, no wait. You can't just abuse her, verbal abuse. Like, you can't just do that when he's around. You're an idiot." As the school day ends, with Bakugo thinking, "I can't bully her with Izuku around. I can't bully her with Izuku around. What if he's not around?" Izuku ends up having to go to the store as Uraraka is left alone. As Bakugo follows Uraraka behind her, as she starts to get the feeling she's being followed. She starts to get scared and starts running away, only to have three people pull her into an alleyway, with Bakugo walking right behind them, as Bakugo just says, "Good, guys, good. Now let's beat her up and assault her." As they are about to beat her up, as they immediately feel a strong presence right behind them, as Izuku just says, "Thank God, Uraraka, you had your phone, or else these lowlifes would have beaten your ass." As Izuku walks up to them, very calm looking, only for Uraraka to realize almost everything on the street is floating, as the people around them start floating as well, as Izuku picks up the floating Uraraka and puts her down, releasing her gravity, as Izuku, absolutely pissed off at Bakugo and the rest of his little posse or gang, Izuku puts them as high as he can, making their gravity as low as possible, and then makes their gravity as high as possible, let's say 3 times Earth's gravity, because they're already falling from a huge distance, which could possibly kill them. They're absolutely scared out of their mind as they're falling down to their supposed death, only to be stopped with 0 gravity on them once again, as Izuku just says, "Let that be a lesson, lowlives," as Izuku walks away with Uraraka. As the rest of Bakugo's gang ends up running away, with Bakugo being absolutely mad. How many times is Izuku going to humiliate him? Sorry about that interruption, if there is kind of one. I had to pause the recording. So Bakugo runs away, grinding his teeth. How many times, once again, will he get humiliated by that stupid weakling Izuku? Bakugo, not paying attention, kicks a bottle which had sludge in it as it explodes. Bakugo, looking absolutely shocked, just sees this entire sludge villain wrap around him and starts suffocating him as a crowd draws near. Izuku, seeing an explosion in the distance, starts to walk towards it, thinking, Bakugo, what the hell did you do now? As Izuku gets right where the explosion happened, on the other side of the alleyway, as Izuku sees the sludge villain. Izuku, obviously very confused, and is like, what the hell is that? My quirk can't do anything against that. Maybe I can try and lower the gravity of its eyes or something? Yeah, I don't care. Just make my gravity as dense as possible. As Izuku starts very slowly but hardly walking with almost 25 times Earth's gravity. He trained for this. It's his quirk, so it's a lot easier than a normal human with 25 Earth's gravity. As Izuku gets there, as the sludge villain says, so another one wants to die, huh? As the sludge villain tries to consume Izuku, but he weighs so much due to his gravity increasing, as the sludge villain can't do anything to him, as Izuku's weighed down. Izuku grabs both the sludge villain's eyes and tosses them out of the sludge as they roll down to the heroes, as Izuku grabs Bakugo's foot and makes his gravity as light as possible, basically making Izuku have a balloon over his head as he floats out of the sludge villain as he gets down, lowering his gravity down to times 1 of Earth's gravity, normal, and Bakugo making his gravity normal as well. They get down as the heroes start praising Bakugo for his bravery and just bewilting Izuku for how stupid he is. As Izuku just says, how stupid am I? You guys didn't even do anything. He could have died. As Izuku walks away, pretty angry, he gets home to see that Uraraka is there watching the news, absolutely shocked. Same with his family. They just say, thank goodness he's okay, all that stuff. 10 months pass with Izuku cleaning the beach as a mysterious figure was always watching him. Izuku knew the presence, but as long as this figure didn't do anything, he was fine. He didn't have to care. So, Izuku ends up just knowing this figure's in the background, and this figure would end up being All Might. He is the person looking on at Izuku, just wondering if this kid could be the next successor for One For All. Comment down in the comments below. I might have a community post up, I don't know, where I'm going to be asking, should Izuku get One For All in the gravity quirk? Or I'll just say, who should get one for all in What If Deku Had Gravity? Uraraka, Bakugo, Izuku, Todoroki, Mirio, all that stuff. So, the 10 months pass, and it's now time for the UA entrance exam. Both of Izuku and Uraraka arrive as they walk into a giant auditorium. Once they get in there, they take the written portion of the exam, as that takes 3 hours. Next, it's the practical portion of the exam, as they all line up after being explained the rules by Present Mike. Once they're all lined up, they get ready for a fight. They want to fight robots. Izuku trying to contemplate what he could do, as he thinks for a moment and just gets an idea. He makes the gravity of all the robots very, very heavy, almost 1,000 times Earth's gravity, making them basically crumple into nothingness or just absolutely destroy the ground below them as the gates open, with Izuku immediately seeing a massive horde of robots. He puts as much gravity as his quirk can handle onto those robots, as Izuku can immediately feel the strain on his body. He's never had to do this much gravity. Almost instantly, though, the robots were killed and the strain on his body was released. After that, Izuku would continue this strategy, getting a ton of points, gaining and gaining hundreds upon hundreds of points, where then he finishes with around 400 points. However, there's 5 minutes left in the exam with no robots left, so Nezu gets an idea. He releases the zero pointer, where Izuku hears a cry for help as he thinks that sounds like Uraraka. As he runs towards the cry to see hundreds of people running away, as Izuku just thinks, "You seriously gonna let my sister die?" As Izuku sees the huge robot, as he tries to make its gravity as light as possible to where it almost weighs as much as a feather. Izuku runs up to it, not being able to hold this much weight. As Izuku's arm, you can see as Izuku's arm starts to turn almost black. As Izuku gets to the robot and pushes it, as Izuku falls to his knees, holding onto the black arm, as Izuku just thinks for a moment, just says, "My arm now feels horrible. My arm, it feels horrible." Man, I feel like such an idiot. So Izuku has his arm dangling, not being able to move it practically, as Recovery Girl gets there and somehow heals it to the point where Izuku can barely twitch its fingers, as Recovery Girl says, "Don't try and lift that much with your quirk anymore. I suggest it will take around 2 weeks for your arm to fully heal." As Izuku's like, "What? 2 weeks? I can't do that last long without my right hand." As I never explained it was the right hand. So the 2 weeks passed as Izuku and Uraraka got their letters of acceptance, Izuku being in first, while Uraraka being all the way back in 20th, barely making it, as they go get their uniforms and go to Class 1A, as Izuku arrives there, only to see a ton of people staring at him as they're like, "Yo, you're the kid that's arm went completely black, right?" As Izuku just sighs and says, "Yeah, I can still barely move it. I've gained almost all movement in my arm, but my pinky is still twitching. Should probably come back today." As Izuku goes and sits down in his seat next to Uraraka, as Aizawa gets in there, as Aizawa tells Izuku that he has to go to Recovery Girl's office and that the class has to wait to do their assignment for Izuku to get back. Izuku goes to Recovery Girl as she heals it once again, but his pinky still very, very small twitch, so Recovery Girl gives him a note that he can't participate in the class's assignment. Izuku, not really caring, just brings the note and gives it to Aizawa as he just says, "So I guess you won't be able to participate in today's assignment. Well, I guess you can stay in UA." As the class just says, What do you mean stay in UA?" As Aizawa just looks at them and says, "Well, I'm doing an assignment, and the people that end up getting the last and second to last will be expelled. And since he's excused, he doesn't really have to participate, as it wouldn't be as fair since he can barely move his arm. You guys sure saw what happened at the entrance exam, right? He already showed enough potential. I need to see all of yours." As they all walk down to testing ground F, as they do the tests, the 2 people being in last place being Toro Hagakure, and Minoru Mineta. They both on the spot are expelled from UA. They're expelled, leaving the class with, I believe, 18 people, leaving 2 spots open, which end up going to Shinso and the Kendo, who makes her hands big, and the one who always slaps, the guy that always laughs at Class 1A. She always slaps him, basically. She's now in 1A as well, as the class is basically complete. 3 weeks pass as now All Might runs through the door as Aizawa says, Today you'll be having Heroes class with All Might. All Might, why don't you go ahead and explain the rules? As All Might says, yes, Aizawa. As All Might then explains that they will be doing a Heroes vs. Villains assignment, as the heroes will be tasked with trying to find a bomb in a very small and enclosed space. As Zuko and Uraraka are paired up with Bakugo and Ida paired up, as the rest of the class is wondering something, that why have they not ever noticed this? Why do Izuku and Uraraka have the same last name? They go up and ask them, say, hey, why do you guys have the same last name? As Izuku just says, we're twins. Why else would we have the same last name? And if you're wondering, Izuku has brown hair, not green. Inko, once again, not a part of this at all. She's just living with Asashi now over in the US, I think. I don't know. As the building is prepared with Bakugo and Ida going to place the bomb somewhere, as they all prepare for that. Now, All Might ends up telling them that they may now go into the building, as they now go into it, as Bakugo starts running towards them. Izuku, hearing tons of loud, heavy footsteps from above them, instantly knows it's Bakugo, as Izuku pushes Uraraka out of the way and immediately gets a huge explosion in his face, sending Izuku flying back into a wall, who just in time makes his body lighter, and he flips around and just says, Bakugo, really? You should have at least tried to take me out in one hit. So you know you can't really defeat me like this. As Izuku puts a ton of gravity on Bakugo, basically to the point where Bakugo can barely breathe, as he starts to choke and then collapses with Izuku taking the gravity off of Bakugo, as Izuku ties up Bakugo's hands and puts handcuffs on them. After that, Izuku walks into the next floor with Uraraka, as they get up there, only to see Ida talking to himself about, I'm a villain. Haha, heroes! I will destroy you! As Uraraka bursts into laughter, with Izuku just face-palming, making Ida have zero gravity, as he tries to use his quirk and ends up flying into a wall, which makes Uraraka burst into laughing even more, as Izuku and Uraraka both touch the bomb at the same time, winning the event, or challenge, basically, assignment, as they end up going back, as All Might congratulates both of them. And that's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. I'm sorry this isn't a full 30-minute video, but it is pretty good. I don't want to get into USJ and Sports Festival, because that alone is going to be a pretty long episode tomorrow. And basically, I thank you all for watching, and I thank you all for almost getting 4,000 subscribers. I'm so close to 4,000 subscribers. It's crazy how much this channel has grown, and I thank you all for that. And the 3,000 subscriber special that I did like 2 weeks ago, a ton of you guys were saying the donations didn't work, which I think they work now. I'm not sure, because I just set up my Google AdSense thing, and since I just set that up, I think my donations will finally work now. So I guess that works. I don't know. I don't care. I thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.